Check it out, boobs and scary demon ghost things. A pretty crazy combination, right? But let's stop delaying and talk about Mieruko-chan. I'm going to explain this anime as simply as I possibly can. This anime is about a girl named Miko. She is like one of the only people that can see these ghosts or demons, whatever you want to call them, and she tries her hardest to not acknowledge them at all, no matter what they do. And that essentially wraps up my quick breakdown of this anime. That's basically the entire plot. She just tries to ignore all of these ghost demons or whatever you want to call them, otherworldly figures. I don't know what you want to call them, but that's essentially the whole anime. She just kind of tries to live with being able to see the dead and the dead kind of interacting with her. But with that out of the way, we get to the weird thing in this anime, that being the ecchi aspects, because ecchi and horror is a really, really weird combination that I wouldn't think I would ever see. But anime never ceases to surprise me. Now, I don't really like fan service, it just doesn't really appeal to me, like at all. But surprisingly, the ecchi or fan service aspects weren't completely overwhelming. The article that I read that led me to this anime talked like there was just so much fan service, and there really wasn't that much, to be honest. Most of it I could honestly look past, but I have to say it again, I didn't really expect horror and ecchi to be mixed. It's a really weird combination, and I guess it worked to some degree. I mean, it didn't take away from anything. It wasn't completely overwhelming, so for the most part, I'm going to say it worked. It's a weird combination that I don't really understand, but anime is just weird in general. I don't really remember where the article came from that I read. It was probably like 10 horror anime you should watch or something like that. But they kind of made it out to be like, oh, fan service and horror, ooh. And I was like, fan service and horror, that sounds really strange. So that's why I ended up watching this anime, because I don't really think I've watched anything that was fan service and horror. I just had to check it out, like morbid curiosity. I was like, I gotta see what this is about. But anyways, to tie in with the ecchi aspects, the comedy was pretty spot on. There was a lot of funny moments, mostly involving Miko trying to ignore the ghost thing. Her friend was also quite funny as well. I don't really remember her name. She kind of filled that really ditzy friend trope that I honestly like a lot. She was always happy-go-lucky, eating a shit ton of food and that kind of stuff. I don't know why it's funny to me, but it really is. I like that ditzy character trope. Like, they're just kind of dumb in there, and that makes it like really funny. I don't have much more to say about the comedy because it really wasn't that memorable. Like I said, it was good, it was spot on, but not necessarily memorable. I can't remember too much about it, just the aspects that I mentioned previously, but all around it was really good, just not something that I can spend 18 minutes talking about. And now on to the thing I'm most excited to talk about, that being the horror. And the horror was really solid. There was a couple times it made me feel a little uneasy, or it filled me with anxiety. That's fire. I like those kinds of feelings. And when the horror in an anime makes me feel that way, I instantly know that they did a good job. One of the first scenes that really did it for me was when the shadow ran past the doorway and I caught a quick glimpse of it and I was like, holy shit, what was that? I think that was in like the first episode. It was a really nice introduction to the whole horror, seeing ghost things. It was incredibly creepy and I was like, oh my god. Another scene that was really creepy was when Miko sent a selfie to her friend and the selfie kept getting sent back to her several times over and over again. That was freaky. I think what made it like really creepy to me is, could you imagine that happening to you? Personally, like you send like a picture of yourself to a friend and then it just gets sent back to you like 100 times. That would scare the shit out of me, I'm not gonna lie. And that's kind of what my thought process was when I was watching this scene. I was like, man, I'd probably piss myself if that happened to me. And the last scene that I want to mention was at the end of the anime, and don't worry, no spoilers, but at the end, I believe after the credits, there was one of the ghosts, and it's like real close, and it said something like, "Can you see me?" That was creepy as all hell. Like, that was incredibly creepy, but it was a wonderful way to get a quick scare in before the anime wrapped up and ended. But all around, the horror was really great. Like I said, it scared me a little bit. That's always good. I like being scared. I like an anime giving me anxiety or freaking me out or creeping me out or having me on the edge of my seat, all those kinds of feelings. I like that. And this anime was definitely kind of freaky at times, and I really enjoyed that. So I have to give him all the props in the world for having good horror. And I have to say, Mieruko-chan is a pretty good anime. It's not something that you have to watch right now. It's honestly like a filler anime. Nothing crazy happens in this anime. It's a rather chill watch and a chill experience, but still pretty entertaining, and I would suggest checking it out if you're into horror or anything like that. Just check it out. I promise it probably won't disappoint you. It's like a filler anime. There's nothing really special. There's not 18 hours of lore or anything like that. It's just a simple watching experience. Anyways, I think that about does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Mieruko-chan down in the comments. Check the description for all my links. I'll drop a synopsis for this anime down there as well. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.